We were a manufacturing economy. 50s to 60s, the manufacturing moves. What's Act 2 for the economics of this state? We never had an Act 2. And it's been this slow bleed from the manufacturing loss. And we never really figured out what was next. What was the second economic act? And we've been dealing with that loss all throughout.
While continuing with our investigation of why factories shut down, we need to gain an understanding of government's role as to when they are a positive contributor. Who are these contributors? And what are the things that a government does that can prevent shutdown? Let's visit Toronto City Hall and speak with a city councillor that has a strong legacy of care and commitment for our standard of living.
So when the city of Toronto about a decade ago was deciding where it would purchase its new streetcars from, some international companies came out and bid on it, and the lowest bid was a company in China. And folks said, okay, you got to go with the lowest bid. That's how you best spend tax dollars. And it wasn't a world of difference, but it was millions against the next highest bid, or the next lowest bid, which was a Canadian, from Bombardier, to make them up in Thunder Bay. The government at the time, progressive government, David Miller, was mayor, decided that, you know what, we're not going to go with the cheapest option. We're not going to go with China because it doesn't make sense. Because we want to protect the manufacturing jobs in Thunder Bay because it helps our local economy. By helping our provincial economy, by helping our national economy, that's helping us. So let's build them in Thunder Bay. And the Conservatives in Toronto went absolutely crazy, saying, why are you wasting your money? Why are you wasting your money? When none of them do the calculation that in all likelihood 20 or 30% of it gets back to the local economy through taxes, through income taxes or HST. They didn't draw that conclusion. They said, why are you wasting that money? Because we could get it done cheaper. And it's this race to the bottom. That companies do it because when they can get it done cheaper in Bangladesh or in China, they will take their manufacturing and move it overseas. And we're seeing that not only in manufacturing but in the service economy. They're moving those jobs because it can be done cheaper. An example of the government saying no, we're going to do what we can to support our local economy. Now with free trade rules that are like particularly around the EU right now, has been all the discussion. We may lose that power, and then all of a sudden we could be taken to court because we're not following the international agreement saying we can't give preferential treatment to companies within our jurisdiction, within our province, that may in fact, and we know, benefit us in the longer term if we make those investments. And it's quite sad when we're being attacked by the very people who say they stand up for business in Toronto that this is bad for Toronto, when what they're actually standing up for is the 1% and those multinationals, and they're not standing up for the smaller businesses, the manufacturers that may make the widgets or the wheel bearings or whatever it is that they put in streetcars, or the seat covers or this and that, whatever it was that was on the supply chain that was likely now cheaper to make in Ontario because they didn't have to ship it anywhere. They just shipped it down the road to Thunder Bay. They were arguing that for some reason that was bad. Who are the officials looking out for? Are they looking out for that 1%, or are they looking out for everyone when they make these decisions? And that's a calculation that we've got to make, and one that we should be taking on, and we shouldn't shy away from making decisions that might cost a little bit more, but are right to do. But that also raises a question that if we're putting those same restrictions on companies in Canada, shouldn't those same restrictions apply to companies or to countries that we deal with? But we also got to think about where those jobs are going to come from, because being able to put that finished product together and bring all those very basic elements into producing something is a huge amount of added value, and it creates a huge amount of wealth, and it's happening all around the world. And it should be happening here. It has happened here in the past. And when we lose that, we lose a huge piece of the global economy. But we want to try to maintain a certain balance That's why we're trying to protect our employment lands, our manufacturing areas, so that we can still say we make stuff. If you want in any of these countries, you got to play by the rules, and that means you're not going to you're going to treat all workers with the right safety and respect vis-a-vis the income, and you're going to follow a certain set of guidelines around the environment. You're going to go X, Y, and you're going to do X, Y, and Z. Let's stop thinking about me and start thinking about we. And then as that collective we grows from my street to my neighborhood to my city to my province to my country to my international community, then I think you'll start electing people that put things like that forward. And it's not only an economic argument for why we want to protect manufacturing in Canada, but it's also the humanitarian argument about why we want to protect people and workers in general internationally. And then hopefully that same generation and that collective change from the me to we will make folks understand that we pay taxes for a reason, and that's so that we can have a great collective society and take care of everyone in need. And we need to start holding those international forces, those large multinational companies, to account. And it might mean that they have to stop making so much money.
It's no longer an education system and an economic development system, and they're two different systems. Where it's working now is when they are merged in one system. The education system builds and blends in to the economic development system. It is the high taxes, period. That is what makes upstate New York non-competitive, is the tax base. That's what you hear from everyone who's leaving. That's what you hear from people who are struggling to stay. It is the high taxes. What would the optimal solution be? Zero taxes. Just eliminate taxes. That would be the solution. No business tax, no corporate tax, no sales, no property, no franchise, no income tax for owners or employees of the company. So it would be a 100% tax-free environment. Nobody says, I want to go. We have forced people from upstate New York. It was our tax structure that has forced businesses from upstate New York, and the people had to follow the businesses. We created the problem. Just stop creating the negative. Stop creating the liability. Reduce the problem, which is the high taxes, and then the assets will overcome the liability.
Over 100 cities around the world are near completion to service the tax-free zones. They are hailed as a brilliant, transformative new approach to drawing manufacturing businesses and jobs. It is and will continue to shut down factories in Canada faster than a stick of dynamite. Imagine no income, business, corporate, no duties, and local taxes, including all sales taxes, property taxes, and franchise fees for an entire decade. The country makes up the rules. Have you ever heard of a better plan to take the jobs that our next generation are in school for? Has globalization created a monster that we are completely unprepared for? We thought there were trade rules of some sort to benefit us all. Now it appears the 1% have found the loophole. The plan is in motion. We ship our resources to a designated free port. They manufacture, process, and ship it back, bypassing and receiving subsidized or special economic tax regulations. The goods are here. The margins are high. The game is on. Our children will be the losers.
Now I know the importance of why factories are shutting down.
How far will this go?